welcome to another broadcast of Comics Let's Talk. This is our Christmas special, and we're going to present to you the 1948 Classics Illustrated Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol. In case you didn't know, I'm a comic book reviewer for two sites, both Comics for Sinners and Comic Crusaders. I write a column on the Comics for Sinners website called Given to Me. In that column, we generally discuss my character franchise of Carl Vincent, Vampire Hunter. There is a movie being made right now based on the first novel, Last Rites, The Return of Sebastian Bacillus. I'll show you a few pictures from the making of that movie right here and now at the beginning of this show. Plus there is a comic book series, Last Rites, The Return of Sebastian Bacillus, Dracula in Hell, and the sequel to Dracula in Hell is Dracula Rising. Dracula Rising #1 was drawn by Dennis Magnant. Here are some pages from that issue. Dracula Rising #2 has about 5 more pages to go and it will be complete. My new artist, since Dennis had to move on, is Rodolfo Ezequiel. Here are some panels from Rodolfo for you from the upcoming Dracula Rising #2. And now let's get on with our broadcast, the 1948 Classics Illustrated of A Christmas Carol. It is narrated by none other than one of the kings of horror himself, Vincent Price.
Before I tell you about The Christmas Carol, let me read to you what Charles Dickens himself wrote about this story. I have endeavored in this ghostly little story to raise the ghost of an idea which shall not put my readers out of humor with themselves, with each other, with the season, or with me. May it haunt their houses pleasantly. Charles Dickens. To begin with, Jacob Marley was dead. There is no doubt about that. You will therefore permit me to repeat emphatically that Marley was as dead as a doornail. Did Scrooge know that he was dead? Of course he did. Ebenezer Scrooge and he had been partners for I don't know how many years. Scrooge never painted out Marley's name, and so there it stood 7 years afterwards above the warehouse door. Ebenezer Scrooge. Oh, but he was a tight-fisted old sinner, hard and sharp as flint. The cold within him froze his features because he always carried his own low temperature with him. And he didn't thaw 1 degree, not even at Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, Uncle. God save you.
Christmas. Humbug.
Christmas, a humbug? Uncle, you don't mean that, I'm sure.
What reason have you to be merry? You're poor enough.
What right have you to be dismal? You're rich enough.
Humbug. What's Christmas to you but a time for finding yourself a year older but not an hour richer? Every idiot that goes about with Merry Christmas on his lips should be boiled in his own pudding.
Now, Uncle, I know you...
Now, you keep Christmas in your own way, Fred, and I'll keep it in mine. Be off now. This is a place of business.
Don't be angry. Come dine with us tomorrow.
No.
Caroline will be happy to see you.
Why did you ever get married?
Because I fell in love.
Love? That's the only thing in the world more ridiculous than a Merry Christmas. Good afternoon, nephew.
Uncle, I'm sorry with all my heart to find you like this. Merry Christmas, Bob.
Merry Christmas, sir.
Let me hear another sound from you. You'll keep your Christmas by losing your situation. You want all day tomorrow, I suppose, Crescent.
Quite convenient, sir.
It's not convenient.
But it's only 1 day in the year, sir.
A poor excuse to pick the pocket of your employer every 25th of December. But be here all the earlier next morning.
I will, sir. And a Merry Christmas to you, Mr. Scrooge.
Ah. Christmas. Nonsense. Humbug.
And while most of London was jovial and full of glee in honor of this Christmas Eve, Scrooge had taken his melancholy dinner at his usual melancholy tavern. And having read all the newspapers, he went home to bed. Scrooge lived in the chambers which had once belonged to Marley, his ex-partner. And as I have remarked before, Marley is dead these last 7 years. Dead as a doornail.
Ebenezer Scrooge?
How now? What do you want of me?
Much.
Who are you?
In life I was your partner, Jacob Marley. You don't believe in me?
I don't.
What evidence would you have of my reality beyond that of your own senses?
I don't know.
Then why doubt your senses?
Because a slight disorder in my stomach could make my senses cheat me. You might be an undigested bit of beef, a blot of mustard, a fragment of underdone potato. Humbug, I tell you, humbug! Mercy on me, dreadful apparition.
Now, do you believe in me or not?
I do. But why do you come to plague me? And why do you wear that ponderous chain?
I made it, link by link in my life, as you are doing for yourself on earth. It is now a part of my penance, and I am here tonight to warn you of a fate such as mine. But, Ebenezer, if you change your ways, you have a chance of escaping my doom.
You were always a good friend to me, Jacob. Thank you. Thank you.
You will be haunted by 3 spirits. Without their visits, you cannot hope to shun the path I tread. Expect the first tomorrow, when the bell tolls 1. Expect the next on the following night at the same hour, and the third on the next night, when the last stroke of 12 has ceased to vibrate.
Couldn't I take them all at once, Jacob, and have it over with?
Look to see me no more, and look that for your own sake you remember what has passed between us.
Scrooge tried desperately to say humbug to the strange happening, but the word stuck in his throat, unuttered, for it was highly probable it was not humbug. Being very much in need of repose from the experience he had undergone, or shall I say, fatigues of the day, he went straight to bed without undressing and fell asleep in an instant. A few hours later,
Are you the spirit whose coming was foretold to me?
I am.
Who and what are you?
I am the ghost of Christmas past.
Long past?
No, your past,
What business brings you here?
your welfare. I have things to show you, which are the shadow of the things that have been. Rise.
the ghost of Christmas past led Scrooge down the road which he had forgotten for so many years. He showed him a Christmas day in the past, which was a happy one for most children, but not for one lonely schoolboy.
Ebenezer Scrooge. Do you know that boy?
Yes, I do. It is I as a boy. Oh, I remember that Christmas well. I felt so lonely. My playmates, they didn't like me.
It was because you had shunned them.
Oh, poor boy. I wish
What is the matter?
there was a boy singing a Christmas carol on the street last night. I should have liked to have given him something, that's all.
Shall I show you another Christmas, 40 years ago, when a fair young girl released you from your marriage contract
No.
because she discovered you had ceased to love her? Your greed, avarice, and desire for wealth had killed the love she had for you.
No, spirits, show me no more. Leave me. Haunt me no longer.
Awakening in the middle of a prodigiously tough snore and sitting up in bed to get his thoughts together, Scrooge had no occasion to be told that the bell was again upon the stroke of 1.
Scrooge!
I am the ghost of Christmas present. Look upon me.
Yes, Spirit, conduct me where you will. I went forth last night on compulsion, and I learned a lesson which is working now. Tonight, if you have aught to teach me, let me profit by it.
Touch my robe. Look.
Belinda, bring the plates.
Oh,
Belinda, there's a great deal of work to be done. Help your sister.
Missy, you get this.
I came by outside, I could smell the sage and the onions.
And you knew it was off, Mother.
Oh, I certainly did, boy.
Peter, set the chairs.
Can I put some chestnuts on the fire, Mother?
No, your father will do that when he comes. What has gotten your precious father? And your brother, Tiny, too.
And Martha wasn't as late last year by half an hour.
Oh.
This is the house of your clerk, Bob Cratchit.
But he has hardly a penny to his name.
I, the ghost of Christmas present, have blessed his house. Here comes Bob now with another member of his family, Tiny Tim.
And a Merry Christmas, everybody. And there you are, Tiny Tim, right in your own chair.
Merry Christmas, Bob.
And Martha.
Yes, here I am again.
Christmas wouldn't be Christmas without Martha coming to visit us.
Bob.
And how did Tiny Tim behave today, Bob?
Fine. He told me coming home that he was glad he'd been to church, because it's pleasant to remember that the day is called Christmas, after he who made the lame to walk and the blind to see. Oh, what a beautiful Christmas table.
It would be more beautiful if we had a turkey, but we'll manage.
Of course we will.
See what a happy family your clerk has on only 15 shillings a week?
Tiny Tim, I didn't know he was sick and a cripple.
Mr. Scrooge. I give you Mr. Scrooge, the founder of the feast.
The founder of the feast, indeed. I wish I had him here. I'd give him a piece of my mind to feast upon.
Dear, it's Christmas Day.
It should be Christmas Day, I'm sure, when one drinks the health of such an odious, stingy, hard, unfeeling man as Mr. Scrooge.
My dear, it's Christmas.
Very well. I'll drink his health for your sake, and because it's Christmas. Long life to him. A Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
A Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
God bless us, everyone.
Tell me, Tiny Tim, will he live?
I see a vacant seat and a little crutch without an owner.
No. Say he will be spared.
My life on the globe is very brief. It ends tonight.
Tonight?
The time is drawing near for me to go and for your third visitor to appear.
I am in the presence of the ghost of Christmas yet to come. Ghost of the future, I fear you more than any specter I have seen. But lead on. I want to know.
I don't know much about it either. I only know he's dead.
When did he die?
Last night, I believe.
What had he done with his money?
I haven't heard. But he'll have no use for it where he's going.
It's likely to be a cheap funeral, for upon my life I don't know anyone to go to it. Suppose we make up a party and volunteer.
When I come to think of it, I'm not at all sure that I wasn't his most particular friend. For we used to stop and speak whenever we met. I don't mind going to his funeral if lunch is provided.
Tell me what man they are speaking of. Who is it that lies dead? No, hear me. I am not the man I was. Assure me I yet may change the shadows you have shown me. I will honor Christmas in my heart and try to keep it all the year. Tell me I may sponge away the writing on this stone. Marley! Marley! Jacob Marley! Heaven and Christmas time be praised for this. I will live in the past, the present, and the future. The spirit of all three shall thrive within me. Boy, oh boy!
Yes, sir?
What's today?
What, sir?
What's today, my fine fellow?
Today? Why, Christmas Day, sir.
It's still Christmas, and I haven't missed it.
For a man who had been out of practice for years, Scrooge gave a most illustrious laugh, the father of a long line of brilliant laughs. And Scrooge dressed himself all in his best, and at last got out into the streets, wishing everyone he met a Merry Christmas.
Mr. Fred, come in,
Oh,
come
Fred,
in.
have you room at your table for some friends?
Oh, you're very welcome, Mr. Fred, sir. And you too, ma'am. I only hope that our lowly feast is to your liking.
Now, don't fret about provisions. We brought plenty for all.
Merry Christmas, Bob.
Mr. Scrooge!
And Mrs. Cratchit, for you.
Mr. Scrooge!
My dear, that's for you. Darling, for you.
For me?
And you, sir.
Oh, Mr. Scrooge, I don't know how we can ever thank you.
Don't. And I'm going to raise your salary and help your large family in every way possible. And Tiny Tim. I saw a friend of mine at church just a little while ago. A famous surgeon. You and I are going to see him tomorrow. And he's going to be your friend, too.
Mr. Scrooge!
Merry Christmas, Mr. Scrooge.
Scrooge won his word. He did it all and infinitely more. And to Tiny Tim, who did not die, he was a second father. Scrooge had no further dealings with ghosts, but it was always said that he knew how to keep Christmas well, if any man alive possessed the knowledge. May it truly be said of us, and all of us. And so, as Tiny Tim observed, God bless us, everyone.
Thank you for watching today's broadcast of our Christmas special, A Christmas Carol, the 1948 Classics Illustrated version. We hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to my page here on YouTube. Also, if you're interested in Carl Vincent Vampire Hunter, please go to the Facebook page, and if you like what you see, click like on Carl Vincent Vampire Hunter. Once again, this is Kevin Given with Comics Let's Talk. Our next broadcast will look at the comic book movies of 2017. Thanks for joining me. Remember, subscribe to my page here on YouTube and like the Carl Vincent Vampire Hunter page on Facebook. Until next week, have a good day and keep reading those comics. If you love comics as much as I do, you're going to subscribe to my channel. I review comics for Comic Crusaders. I also have my own franchises, Adolescent Radioactive Samurai Platypi and Carl Vincent Vampire Hunter. They're available on Comics Central, Indie Planet, and Comixology. Check them out. We're going to do our official launch in October 2018. Stay tuned to this broadcast for more information. Also, like the Facebook pages for each franchise for more information. Check out my Patreon site for some neat original artwork and shows that you won't find on YouTube.